Hi everyone, this is Jenny Hernandez with ABA Exam Academy, and today we're going to go over mock questions. So let's be more specific about that. So what are we really doing? We're going to answer mock questions. So what I did is I did a mock question, 1 to 2 mock questions per task list, which covers A through K, and I also included FK and ethics. And more questions and more questions. Why? Because we need to, now we went through the entire task list. Now we need to practice. We need to get ready for that test. We're in crunch time. Before we really get started, let's just read our disclaimer. Our group is called ABA Exam Academy, and we're basically here to help you ace the BCBA, BCABA exam. And these meetings are meant to have an active discussion and collaborations, and for you guys to ask questions, and for us, everybody to collaborate. So let's remember that since we're doing that and we have an open forum, just remember to double check everything we say with your books, and remember that I am a BCABA, and the PowerPoints and the mock questions were created by me. And just ethical considerations, please do not share any test questions that you have encountered in the past, or any paid resources, questions from any paid resources, or anything like that. But we can share open resources such as books and etc., such as the ones that I used here are Cooper, Mayer, past the BCBA, the ethics books, and I just read them, and from there I got the information to cover the mock questions. Is everybody ready?
Yes, we are.
I get that excitement at this time of night. For those of you in YouTube, let me tell you, we are here, we are warriors, we are at 10 p.m., right guys?
Yes.
We're exhausted, but we're gonna pass we're gonna do it. Okay, so let's start with FK. So thank you, Martin, for answering. So Martin, here's FK. When referring to experimental design, the behavior is the blank, and the treatment is the blank. So is it A? I'm sorry.
The behavior is the DV, and the treatment is the IV, D.
Wait, let me read them, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Really?
Oh, wow, Martin.
I want you to slow down. Okay.
His latency is amazing.
I know, it's great, but I want you to breathe it in.
I'm sorry, I'll just mute my mic. I can't control.
No, it's okay, Martin. We love it when you answer. So, guys, so A is horrible, but I want you to think about this one. I made it look like it was simple, but it's not. So I'm gonna read it again. When referring to experimental design, the behavior is the blank, and the treatment is the blank. Horizontal A, horizontal axis, vertical axis. B, AB. C, independent variable, dependent variable, or D, dependent variable, independent variable.
D.
Oh, D.
I tried to trick you. Since Martin had given the answer, I was like, oh, it's tricky. Guys, tonight we have a bunch of mock questions. So I want to get some volunteers to read the next one. So Martin, go ahead. Since you're so good at this, let's go.
Okay. The daughter comes home from school with a big bite mark on her arm. My mom thinks it's a dog bite. I think it's probably a classmate's bite. Which attitude of sign is my mom not following? A, philosophic doubt. B, analytical. C, parsimony. D, determinism.
Parsimony.
Hey, this one was made for you.
Parsimony.
So I heard a parsimony.
C, parsimony.
Yes, C, parsimony.
And I heard C, parsimony. Okay, so this one I was saying that it was meant for Dami because we were talking that she wanted to practice more questions with negations. So Martin, can you tell me where is the negation here?
Not following.
Not following. Yeah. So it's a
Remember
little
that.
tricky, right? It's not on your nose. It's not except.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great because I was wondering why it was for me.
I wanted to point it out, but it's just,
There you go.
okay, guys. So
Not following.
the answer is C. You guys got it right. That's FK still. This one's A. So who wants to read it?
I can read it.
Go ahead.
I don't know how to say the first word. But Lynette loves to exercise. It takes her 30 minutes to run a mile, and it takes her 10 minutes to bike 2 miles. What is the rate of Lynette's running behavior? A, 30 minutes. B, 1 mile. C, 1 mile in 30 minutes. D, 2 miles in 10 minutes.
Good. Thank you.
C.
C, 1 mile in 30 minutes.
Okay, so Rita, what is the key things in this? Why would you say C? What is the key things that lets you know that the C is rate?
Because rate counts over time.
Agreed, C.
Nice job, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so who wants to read C, the next one? You want to do it, Rita?
Sure. To calculate this, IOA, to calculate this IOA, the BCBA needs to divide the number of intervals between recorders are in agreement by the total number of intervals. Once she gets the answer, she multiplies it by 100, which IOA is the above statement referring to.
Occurrence. Read the.
I think
It would be occurrence IOA.
Oh, sorry. A, occurrence IOA. B, scored interval IOA. C, mean duration IOA. Or D, interval by interval IOA.
Nice, thank you.
B. B.
Did I hear A or B or only B?
B.
for boy.
B for boy. So I think the majority said B if I didn't. But the answer is D. Here's why. It's a little tricky because those are confusing.
It's interval by interval.
So here's the explanation that I gave. So B would be, I knew that it was going to be a little tricky. So B would be scored interval IOA because the definition would be the number of interval, both recorded occurrences divided by the number of intervals, at least one recorder occurrences. Then you multiply by 100. So who can point out the difference here?
Both observers recorded in agreement.
The number of intervals, I think, is this one, isn't it?
This one is in agreement, right?
Yeah.
So the difference is in agreement. And in score interval is both recorded. So when I was explaining it to somebody, I was thinking a good way to remember is scored intervals are both saw the occurrence. So yippee, they both saw it. Interval by interval, both are in agreement. So they both agree. And on score interval, they both saw no occurrence. So it's unscored. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of.
so for score interval, it both says that yeah, we both saw a score, but for interval, it's like they saw something, but whether they agree, then it will be interval by interval. If they don't agree, I guess that'll be something else. But is that the difference between score interval and interval?
Can you repeat the one for unscored?
So it says like score interval says we both saw a score. Well, interval by interval says we both agree
Yes.
on a score. Can we elaborate on that? That maybe when we are saying like we saw something, but it doesn't necessarily that we agreed we saw the same thing. But if we agreed, that would be interval by interval. Is that right?
Yes. So interval by interval is that they both agree. So they both, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand is that they both agree in the sense that they both marked that, yes, we saw it, or they both marked that, no, we didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah,
that
it's
correct,
absolutely
guys?
like that. Yeah, it's absolutely like that. So both agree on the occurrence, on the non-occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
For instance, in interval 1, both agreed that the behavior occurred, while in another interval, interval 4, both agreed that the behavior didn't occur. So this is the difference between the scored and the unscored compared to the interval by interval.
Right.
Exactly. I like that explanation. Thank you, Martin.
No, you're welcome.
I
Okay.
was going to say, I think there's also a second part to that, because with between the scored or unscored and then the interval by interval, with interval by interval, don't you divide by the total amount of intervals?
I'm sure this one right here is the full definition. I believe. Let me see. So calculate the number of
Yes. So by the total number of intervals.
Yes,
But with
the ones that I wrote at the bottom, Vanessa, they were just like the parts that made them different.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to elaborate on, is that with scored and unscored, you would only take into consideration the intervals in which at least one observer scored or unscored it.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Vanessa. That's how it is. Yeah.
Jesus,
Yes.
thank you for letting me get something right today.
No, you did good. You did good. So you know what? Okay, perfect. So I just focus here on like the difference between the first part of it, but I agree with you. We need to cover the whole definition. So otherwise we might get confused. Thank you, Vanessa, for that. Okay, now we're moving to task list B. So Vanessa, you want to read this one?
Sure, sorry. I'm eating at the same time. I
Oh,
apologize.
no, don't worry about it. Let's pick somebody else. Who wants to read it, guys? Don't be shy. It's just reading it. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I'll read it.
Go ahead.
The BCBA determines the effectiveness of a particular intervention by demonstrating functional relations between the measures of the blank and the blank. A, behavior of concern, the behavior change procedure, independent variable, control variable. C, dependent variable, the setting, or D, behavior of concern and dependent variable.
Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome. I think it's B.
B.
Yeah.
I think B too.
Anybody else? We have 2B, right? I think 3 because
3 B's, yeah.
3B. Look, this one was a little trickier. So as you can see, I'm making, I made easier and a little bit trickier questions. So this one, I got it from Mayer, page 158. And why is it B? Because it's go ahead, Rita, go.
You said, why is it B? Did you
Why
make
is it A? I'm sorry. Why is it A and not?
Now I see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the behavior change procedure, is that like an AKA for
Treatment.
treatment? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be measuring the
Okay,
behavior.
so DV and
Yes.
VI.
So here we need to recognize that the behavior of concern, actually what that means is the dependent variable, and that the components of the intervention / behavior change
So the IV, yeah.
is
Yeah,
the independent variable. It was a little trickier.
Well done.
Thank you. Okay, this one's easier. All of the following are part of baseline logic except
B.
prediction, predetermination, verification, replication.
B.
B.
That was fast. That
We
was
know.
nice job. So when conducting a changing criterion design, the size of the changes between each criterion should vary to prove A, strong control relations, B, strong magnitude changes, C, strong functional relations, D, strong changing criterion design.
C. C and Charlie.
C,
C.
C and
C
C,
as in cat.
C and C and C.
Um,
Nice. Let's see. It is C. Guys, you're on a roll today. Yep. So you can find it in past the BCBA in the part where it says guidelines for changing criteria. If you notice, I put the page, the book and the page number in case you want to go back and double check or anything. So what type of reinforcement is bribery? Is it positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, automatic reinforcement? It is not a reinforcement.
D.
D.
Reinforcement.
D as in dog.
Nice.
Make
Fast.
it deeper in people's head.
Because we don't know if the behavior has been increased in the future or not.
but bribery is not a
Bribery is not
reinforcement.
Bribery is not a
We don't use bribery.
Yeah.
Mayer has a good explanation about it, and it was explaining that it's not a reinforcement. It's not a reinforcement.
It happens prior to the behavior, and it usually benefits the person offering the bribe.
Yes. And
Yes.
I think those are the two key things that they mention in Mayer. Thank you, Vanessa. Eating makes you.
Apparently.
We all need to be eating a little bit more, guys. We need to be sitting here with
I wish they let us eat in the.
some
Oh,
snacks.
me too. These McDonald's fries would be coming with me.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's go to C. We just went through 1C. Now we're going to do another one. I implemented extinction procedure for my client's biting behavior. It was implemented a month ago. The behavior reduced to 0 occurrences. By yesterday, my client beat his mom 5 times. This unwanted effect of extinction is called spontaneous recovery. B, behavior contrast. C, resistance to extinction. D, slow rates of behavior change.
A.
A.
Recovery.
Recovery.
Spontaneous recovery.
Nice, guys. I think you're ready.
No.
Hey. Good. Verbal behavior was created by, this one's hard, so you gotta focus and think. Watson, Jamie, Pavlov,
B.
Skinner.
Amy all the way.
AKA David.
By Mr. Juarez.
B.
Which one was it, guys? Because you were joking, but now I didn't hear it.
They're gonna get that answer on the exam correct.
Definitely AKA Demi.
By Frederick Borjas.
So the answer is Skinner. You better know that one. All of the following are prerequisites for imitation training, except A, staying seated. Sorry. B, looking at the teacher. C, putting hand up when teacher puts a hand up. Or D, keeping hands in lap. Your lap.
B.
C is not a
C. Yes, a cut.
A, B, D are prerequisites. C is not.
Do you guys agree with Rita or do you disagree?
C. I'll agree.
Yeah, okay. C is the imitation behavior. That makes sense.
Okay, let's see. Nice job, Rita. You're on fire, girl. On fire.
Thank you.
See, it is.
Oh, the
You
fire
guys get it,
department.
right? We understand why. Rita, explain.
Yeah, because C is the imitation behavior. You know, the student is imitating, so it's not a prerequisite. It is the behavior.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, and remember this one is a negation. So all of the ones that you're gonna see are correct, and the one that you need to pick is the one that is
Imitation.
Not correct.
Mm-hmm.
incorrect. So and we have to focus on prerequisite. But this is this is one of those questions that if you really read it fast, you might get it wrong. If you read it too fast and you don't focus on it, you might get it wrong. So that's why it's important to make questions like this. So every time my nephew wants something, he cries and cries and cries. My sister reprimands him by saying, "No, you cannot have that." And then she says, "I said no, stop screaming." My nephew then continues to scream, and my sister gives him what he wanted. My sister's reprimand was A, positive reinforcement, B, negative reinforcement, C, positive punishment, or D, negative punishment.
A.
B, negative reinforcement.
No.
So I have one A, I have one B, and I think I have one.
You talk about the sister's reprimand is a positive reinforcement because he continued to, even after.
Oh, right, yes.
The behavior increases and he gains it. Yes.
Isn't that a reprimand a negative, like a punishment?
But the reprimand that was added, though.
It was added, so that's positive, and the behavior
makes it
increased.
positive because it was added.
Okay, so I heard a couple of good things for us to point out here, just for the sake of.
I think that sometimes.
So is a reprimand punishment? Well, what we can say is my sister could have meant it as a punishment, but in reality, in the ABA world, it was not a punishment. Because to determine whether it's a punishment or not, we need to see what, guys? What do we need to see?
The behavior decreases in the future.
Good job. So we need to see if the behavior increases in the future or decreases. So in the case of punishment, if it decreases. If the behavior increases, then it did not function as a punishment. It functioned as a reinforcement.
Yep.
Yeah. So that makes it the reinforcement part. So what makes it the positive instead of the negative?
It's adding reprimand to it.
Yes. Adding reprimand. Nice job, guys. Well, let me get the answer. So yeah, it is positive reinforcement. Thank you for speaking up. I like it because that way we can talk things through. Okay, so let's go to D. And D, since it's a lot of questions in the test, I did more than 2. I don't remember how many I did. Let me see what time it is. Okay, so let me hurry up. If other non-targeted challenge behaviors increase while we use DRO, we should A, shorten the interval, B, make the interval longer, C, continue with the same interval, or D, change the interval to a fixed interval. Tricky.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking
Elimination. I don't know if I don't know if you guys want to go that direction, but if we use process of elimination, when something is not working, obviously we have to change something. So that takes out C because we can't continue the same interval if it's not working. Now, I'm thinking about D, change the interval to a fixed interval. GRO technically can have a fixed interval schedule.
I want to say this.
And then also, because it's fixed, they wouldn't receive reinforcement until
Continues.
after correct behavior, right?
Yep. So I say A, shorten the interval.
We don't know.
I think
because if we shorten the interval, then they would come in contact with reinforcement more frequently.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Tabitha.
Thank you, Tabitha, girl. You did awesome. And the rest of you too. Thank you for explaining it, guys. I really like that.
I was also kind of going through the process of like, what if the interval is already short and maybe the reinforcer, I may be thinking too much or maybe not enough information, but like that was going through my head, which is why I was like, I don't know if it's a.
No, but thank you. I like the way you went through process of elimination. That's basically when we're in the test and we don't see the answer right away, we need to go through process of elimination. And that's one of the test taking skills that we need to work on. So thank you. I agree with you. We need to work on that. So, but you guys were right. It's shorten. We need to shorten the interval, not make the interval longer because. And I like the fact that Tamatha explained that is because they need to encounter reinforcement faster. That's the key thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So D. If other non-target or challenging behaviors increase while we use DRO, we should shorten the interval and or A. Keep the operational definition. B, change the operational definition. C, change the operational definition to include other challenging behaviors. D, keep the operational definition since it is the original from the behavior plan written by the BCBA.
C.
E.
C.
C.
Did I hear everybody say B or am I wrong?
I said
No.
C.
I said C
I
too.
said C.
C for cat.
C.
Cat.
I said C.
C. Oh, so I definitely heard wrong. Good job, guys. C. Nice. Change the operational definition to include other challenging behaviors. That is what we need to do.
Yeah.
The DRH helps to blank behaviors that the client displays blank. So is it decrease to infrequent, increase to infrequent, decrease frequent, increase frequent?
C.
B.
Like
Is
boy.
boy.
Huh, you guys are fast. Try not to make it too tricky, but I think you need trickier. You're going too fast. That's awesome. Congratulations. B is the answer.
Just tell us your timiness, and some of us will probably freak out.
Well, you can talk about it, Vanessa. You feel free to talk about it. Vanessa and I were studying today, and we're doing a tutoring session, and she was getting all of them right. And then I started collecting data on her, how long she would take to answer our exam. And the minute I started collecting data, she started getting them wrong. She's like, "Oh my God!"
This is my
It's
problem.
under the radar.
I'm like,
What would that be considered, guys? What does that sound like?
Receptivity.
Oh, yes. Yes, but I will tell you that the tips that you gave me today totally changed everything. I did a 42 mock question, gave myself a minute and a half, so I gave myself an hour and 3 minutes. I had 38 minutes left. The two that I got wrong, I was able to use your data sheet. One of them was a negation question. So now the whole, if it's asking you which one is not a disadvantage, obviously you're looking for the advantage. That just changed everything. And then the second one, I knew part of it. So now I know what I need to work on.
Yay! I'm so proud of you.
Yes, thank
Go,
you.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
Guys. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I cried before that, but then I got it together and I took the test. Minerva knows.
No, but for real, guys, this is why I keep saying it over and over again. You have spent a lot of time and hours and months studying. So do not forget to take mock test, and collect data on your test taking behavior and develop those test taking skills. Because you guys, I see it every week, you're getting better and better and better. But when we do it here, it's more in a general term. We need to focus on what is it that you specifically need to work on, and do what Vanessa did. She collected data and she's working on it, and
Yeah,
especially under time constraints.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Vanessa. I think that's going to help a lot of people.
I hope so.
So,
I mean,
yeah, I agree. So this is we're have like 7 minutes. We're gonna go as many as you want as we can, and I have a couple more. If you want, we can continue the rest next week. If you are interested in it. If not, we'll leave it as it is. Okay. So task list D, we provide NCR reinforcement. Think about this one. A, dependent on the client's behavior. B, independent on the client's behavior. C, when the client reaches a set criteria. D, on an FI schedule.
Be like boy.
Be like boy.
Be like boy.
Independent of the client's behavior.
That's just, yeah.
Nice. That was fast. I thought you guys were going to be tricked by this one.
We were reading it while they were talking.
Oh my God.
That is so true.
Yes.
That give us more time to read.
Like, as these girls are talking, I'm just going to make sure.
I'm a slow thinker, I
I
guess.
was pouring my heart out, guys.
Sorry, Vanessa.
No.
We're happy for you, but we were reading.
We're happy for you, but we're worried about ourselves.
Exactly.
That is the truth. Okay, so who can tell me? Martin, go ahead. What is NCR stand for?
Non-contingent reinforcement.
Nice. Wow, you guys are smart. Hey, that's what you gotta do. Okay, let's do this one. The teacher is using reinforcement to diminish one of her students' problematic behaviors. She will provide the reinforcer in an average of 30 minutes if the student is not engaging in the maladaptive behavior. So it would be FI 30, rewind. FI 30, VI 30, FT 30, VT 30. I feel like I'm doing bingo or something. F 35. So what was it?
Fixed time.
I think it's VI 30.
Is it fixed time?
Fixed time. It's F. It's definitely F. It's not.
No, because it's average.
They say average. Wouldn't that be
Average of 30
VT?
minutes. So it's FI
I think
30,
it's
I think.
VT.
V.
I
Variable.
think
Because it's variable interval.
That's what I said.
Variable.
it's
Yeah.
an average. It's B.
You're right.
No.
It's B.
Yeah,
So
B.
why is it not fixed time?
Because
Because
it's
it's average.
It says average. It doesn't say every.
Okay, I like that one, but let's go for why is it not variable time then?
A VI shouldn't, because a VI is an average of time and the correct response.
I will tell you why it's not
Exactly.
V time, because it's not an NCR. NCR uses fixed time and variable time.
Yes, that is the answer.
I like that. Say that again. NCR uses what?
NCR is the one that uses fixed time and variable time, while the other reinforcement schedule uses the FI, VI, and VR, and
Thank you. I learned. Okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Good job,
FPM
Martin.
is specific for NCR.
yes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the basic schedules of reinforcement are just focused on VIs. The F fixed intervals.
Fixed ratio. Yeah. Okay.
And ratios. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Another tip is that of the interval part. When we say interval, either variable or fixed, it's because the reinforcer is given dependent on the child's behavior. In the definition, when we read it, is you give it to him if he behaved good, but if he engaged in the target behavior. If he didn't, then you don't. Remember that part? So that's the part that in the non-contingent reinforcement is just contingent on time. It's not contingent on the child's behavior, which is basically what Martin said. Just in different words, so if you want to look at it that way.
That makes sense.
Okay, guys. So that's D. Let's leave it there because we have 2 minutes left. And I don't want to. Do you want to go over more mock questions next week?
Yes. Yes, I would like to.
Yes.
Yes.
That
We can do one more.
Keep on going.
We can do one more.
Okay, so look, we can do from E to ethics next week. Or
Okay.
more. All right, thank you so much. If we need
Thank
help,
you.
if you need help, remember to schedule a one-on-one tutoring session, and I wrote it right, correct, this time. www.abcexamacademy.com and join the live study sessions next week. They meet Wednesday, Jenny, Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.